Allama Iqbal, a visionary poet and philosopher, recognized the importance of the English language for Muslims during a critical period in history. In the early 20th century, the Muslim world was grappling with political and social challenges brought about by colonialism and globalization. Iqbal, a prominent thinker in British India, believed that English was not just a language of the colonial masters, but also a tool for intellectual and social progress. He argued that Muslims should embrace English as a means to access knowledge, engage with the modern world, and uplift their communities. To advocate for this idea, Iqbal penned numerous essays and poems, encouraging Muslims to learn and use English alongside their native languages. He believed that mastering English would enable Muslims to communicate effectively with the wider world, bridge cultural gaps, and gain access to scientific and philosophical advancements. Iqbal's efforts were not limited to words. He actively promoted English education among Muslims. He called for the establishment of English medium schools and universities in the Muslim-majority regions of India, emphasizing the importance of combining traditional Islamic education with modern knowledge. Through his tireless efforts, Allama Iqbal planted the seeds for a more globally connected and educated Muslim community. His vision laid the foundation for Muslims to adapt to the challenges of the modern era while preserving their cultural and religious identity, demonstrating the enduring importance of the English language. In the pursuit of knowledge and progress, Allama Iqbal embarked on a mission to convince Muslims of the value of English literature as a means of intellectual and cultural enrichment. In the early 20th century, English was often viewed with suspicion by many Muslims, who feared it might dilute their Islamic heritage. However, Iqbal saw it differently. He believed that mastering English literature would not only enhance the educational and intellectual prowess of Muslims, but also bridge the gap between their rich heritage and the modern world. Iqbal used his powerful poetry and persuasive speeches to convey this message. His words resonated deeply with his fellow Muslims, and he began to articulate the idea that English literature could be a vessel for conveying universal truths and values that aligned with Islamic principles. He pointed to the works of Shakespeare, Wordsworth, and other English literary giants, arguing that their themes of justice, morality, and the human experience were compatible with Islamic teachings. He encouraged Muslim scholars and students to study these great writers and extract the wisdom they offered. Furthermore, Iqbal emphasized that a command of English literature would empower Muslims to engage in global dialogues, fostering a deeper understanding between East and West. He saw English as a tool that could help Muslims break free from colonial subjugation and regain their rightful place in the world. Through his eloquent advocacy, Allama Iqbal inspired a generation of Muslims to embrace English literature as a means of broadening their horizons and enriching their intellectual lives. His efforts laid the foundation for a renewed appreciation of English literature within the Muslim community, contributing to a more interconnected and enlightened future. Allama Iqbal primarily wrote his poetry and philosophical works in Persian and Urdu, as these were the languages he felt most comfortable expressing his ideas in. However, there are a few essays and letters that he wrote in English. Some of his notable works in English include 1. The Development of Metaphysics in Persia 1908. This book is considered one of Iqbal's most significant works in English. In it, he explores the history and development of metaphysical thought in Persian modern-day Iran, tracing its evolution from ancient times to the Islamic Golden Age. 2. The Reconstruction of Religious Thought in Islam in 1930. This is perhaps Allama Iqbal's most famous work in English. It's a collection of 7 lectures that he delivered at various universities between 1928 and 1930. In these lectures, Iqbal discusses the need for a fresh interpretation of Islamic philosophy and spirituality to address the challenges of the modern world. 3. various letters and essays. Allama Iqbal also wrote letters and essays in English, often addressing a global audience. These writings touched upon topics such as the role of Islam in the modern age, the importance of spirituality, and the need for unity among Muslims. While Allama Iqbal's English works are relatively limited compared to his extensive body of work in Persian and Urdu, they remain influential and provide valuable insights into his philosophical and intellectual contributions to the world of ideas.